Welcome, Dadas all over Kenya and East Africa. It's Sunday, it's 4 p.m. You're on the Dadas show. We are always honored to host you. Today we want to talk about something that's really dear and near to my heart. It's about the creative and artistic industry, especially in Kenya. And we want to talk about it because we've noticed a couple of interesting occurrences. Artists coming out to say they've been alcoholics, they're broke, they're having a hard time. And yet, in our eyes, they were millionaires. So what happened? So today I am so privileged, so privileged to have the ever most beautiful, am I introducing her correctly? Very talented, amazing. I've never done this before. Carol! And she's flanked by the behind the scenes master. Guru. Alex! Guys, please introduce yourselves.
My name's Allan Weku.
Allan, I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's understandable. Like you've said, behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, I know. Behind the scenes, people even call you the wrong name.
Yeah. Which we elewa.
Pole sana.
Nice,
Pole
okay.
sana. His name is Allan.
Allan Weku.
Famously known as Alonzi.
Yeah, Alonzi.
Oh, famously known as Alonzi. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So, where do I start? Started off as a dancer.
Dancer!
Started off as a dancer, became an actor, then eventually grew, went into behind the scenes, became the creative director for Churchill Show. Then came 2020. Then
to bombs
2020. Acha basi nianze vizuri. So kuanza kuact makutano. Kutoka makutano tukaingia Churchill Show, the creative director. From creative director went to Viskit. Viskit is an app. Became the talent manager there from 2020 to 2021. 2021 now with Daytona doing talent management and content direction for talents.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, allow me, Carol, just give me a second. Let me clarify a few terms. What is behind the scenes? What is a creative director? And what is a talent manager?
Behind the scenes is what you do now off camera. You know, in terms of organization, in terms of scripting, directing, you know, production meetings, just organizing everything, the entire production of Churchill Show and these other small skits that to video to know we help in writing. Talent manager is, as it explains itself, just manage talent, manage emotions, manage finances, expectations, and all these things that are supposed to be managed.
Okay.
Creative director. A creative director, you know, you direct the creative aspect. Like an artist can come with a song, but you saw the song in Itaji hooks, rhymes, all this, so you work with the artist and you do the arrangement. In terms of comedy, you know, who are you talking to? What do you want to talk about? Why do you want guys to remember you? What's so important? No.
Okay, so you manage the creativity.
Yeah. So then tunasema now, for instance, give me a name. Give me one character. A character.
Yeah. Let me give you a character. Churchill himself.
Yeah, like Churchill. You know, there's some things Churchill can do, Churchill can say. You know, it's different from the real guy. So there's Churchill the talent. Yes, from Daniel Ndambuki.
Yeah.
So when he goes on stage, there's the character Churchill.
Yeah.
We work on the character Churchill.
Yeah.
We come up with the character Bible. What does he like? What does he like to say? What doesn't he like? So that even when you go on stage, you are representing a certain group of people who eventually become your fans.
Hey, you've dropped so many things. Let me just keep
Yeah.
it, you know, hook, character, Bible, what are you, let's go to, you know, these are, yani, you are just dropping things. What are you doing?
Pole.
Carol, please tell us a bit about yourself. And by the way, you look absolutely smashing.
Thanks, Pauline. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, my name's Caroline Kipsutto. Having come from a background way back in primary school, doing poetry, dance, being a soloist, drama, and then that grew, took me to Nairobi. And that is where I decided, hey, let me try this industry and see what it has to offer. So I went in, first of all, I was auditioned as an extra on the first Sugar. We were with Kina Lupita, yes.
Lupita.
Yes, I was an extra then. Then from then I got a role at Wash and Set. It was by sheer luck. My former schoolmate, classmate, Sevianato, got a role, and he said, you've been talking to me, you've been telling me you want to act, so this is the right time. Can you try this? And I was given a role, first time, Sugar Mommy. I'm like, oh my God, how do I deliver this? Then from Wash and Set, I got other roles, Nairobi Law. Then I moved on to Muheshimiwa then. That is what really got me out there. And now from Muheshimiwa, I thought, now what next? I did a lot of short films, but as you say, I was a celebrity, but a short celebrity. A broke celebrity. You need to look the part, you need to dress well, and you don't have that money. So what do? I go back to working because I was working, and at the same time I was acting. At some point, I had to leave work and concentrate on acting because now it became part of my life. It was a full-time job. But then when the coins were not coming in, I decided, you know what, I still can work. I went back into being the events manager, Churchill Show, where I started as a backstage manager and grew all the way to the main event manager. And that's where I met the creative guy, Allan. Allan Weku, yes.
Ukiwapo backstage,
Yes,
just keeping order,
backstage.
keeping things in check.
Yes. So basically, I was this person who was in charge of welfare, ensuring that we have a location, a venue, accommodation, meals for the crew, their movement, partnerships, name it. Yes. So it was a very good learning platform for me because then it has carved me to who I am right now. Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
you are also now doing talent management. Are you
Yes.
still sort of trying to do that?
Yes, so when I left Churchill Show in 2019, June, I decided to start on my own.
Yeah.
Then we opened a company, Daytona. We do events, event management, and we also do talent management.
Okay.
We are very particular about the talents that we manage because in Kenya, we do not have that culture of talent management. Tunaona mtu ni kama huyo anataka kunibia pesa. He's just trying to make a deal through me and make a few coins.
Yeah.
No, at the end of the day, you realize that we don't make much because I have to go around market. I have to talk to like 1,000 clients before one can confirm that, yes, this is the brand that we want. This is the image that we want to represent our brand. So that culture of having a talent manager in Kenya, I think it's just a new thing and it hasn't been embraced yet. But we hope with time, talents will concentrate on their skill, will concentrate on building themselves talent-wise and let a talent manager work it out for you.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
I must see you after this. I'm a talent. I didn't know you existed. I mean, ladies, I learn something new every day. I am a talent and I'm going to have a talent manager after this. So you see a lot of talent. When people come to you, especially backstage, they are raw, they are young, many of them, very energetic, very talented. What are some of the things that you notice that are the big problems, even before they begin?
Yeah, there are a lot of problems. Kwanza tukianzia from externally. First of all, the systems and the structure. You know, they are porous. They are not defined for talents. Because when you come, you solely depend on your talent. Like if I'm a comedian, nimetoka Madare, going to Carnival, believing that I'm going to make 1,000 people laugh. But there are so many elements that you don't understand. So when they come, there's that tussle between understanding management, understanding yourself as a talent. So when you just believe, most of them just believe,
Funny.
this song, this joke,
In a make.
this is the next big thing.
Taua.
When you come, you tell them, by the way you see your jokes, you give yourself like 3 years. They're like 3 years.
I don't have.
I don't have 3 years.
I don't even have bus fare.
Yeah, I don't, hey, come on.
Yeah. I actually was coming to get
Hey,
money
so
to go.
there's that process that when they first come, they don't understand it. Then eventually with passion, najua, most give up, most endelea with the BD, you know, they grasp it. Then after a few years, they now understand. They are like, by the way, you were right. You know, there's some certain elements you need to know how to research. You need to understand your market. How are you dressing? How are you talking? Your tone. There's so many elements that is in a cover you as a talent. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Carol, is there an entry, is there a way people enter the industry, this industry, or is it just by flukes?
I'd start by talking about myself, how I got into the industry. As I'd mentioned earlier, it was just by sheer luck that I knew someone who had gone before me. Yeah? And those days we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have social media platform. So it was, you camp at either Kenya National Theatre or Alliance. Just get to have wind of what is happening. And in case you have some godfather or someone who's already seen you do something, then you get a chance, you get blessed somewhere. Yeah? Like, I would see shows like Makutano, but I'm like, when did these guys audition? Because I was never privy to that information. So for me, it was talk to this guy. I saw Xavier on Wash and Set, and I called him. I looked for him. I looked for his number, and I told him, Xavier, if you ever get a chance, please consider me. Because I was working. I didn't have enough time to go and sit at National Theatre or Alliance, but I had to find a way because this is my passion and I have to pursue it. But for the rest of the actors and those would-be actors and actresses, it's very difficult to venture into this industry. At the end of the day, it's, do you know anyone? And right now, I would say the actors and actresses that are coming up right now are very lucky because we have social media platforms. And every other day, we are seeing adverts thrown left, right, center.
Casting call.
Yeah, casting calls at the end of the day. It's a bit easier. Yeah, and we hope things will get better.
Yeah. So it's good that there's a lot of interest now. There are casting calls out there. But you go to any casting call, you find 1,000 people auditioning for 5 roles. So obviously there's a lot of talent in Kenya and very little opportunity.
Yeah.
How do we, can that even begin to change? And I know it's not just here, internationally, everywhere. I mean, look at America's Got Talent. There is a lot of talent. But surely there must be a way that we can grow the industry a little more. What would you say to that?
Yeah, like, take for instance, when I was auditioning during Churchill Show, we used to meet one day, meet over 400 youth. The next day you meet 300. All of them are jobless. And all of them, most of them are talented. And you're only supposed, like you're saying, you're only supposed to pick 5. So, like, coming this year, as part of the solution, we decided, like you see, for Churchill Show, it worked. There's some products, when you interrogate them, you see it worked. So we borrowed these elements that worked from this other production and tried to compile them together to form an industry. So take, for instance, if you have 5 productions like Churchill shows, you know, you double the number. So you double the opportunities and you input proper structures, and eventually we'll have asemaje, tutakuwa na industry strong.
I agree.
You know,
we need to multiply the number of work. Yeah.
If we multiply the number of work, automatically it will work with the support structure and those systems are put in place. We'll be fine because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent. You can imagine COVID. Artists from Nairobi, the way they were complaining. These are artists from Nairobi, and we have vibrant clubs and hotels. They have venues where at least they can perform, get to little some amounts, and earn a living. Now imagine mashinani.
Uko kume dry.
Hey, kabisa, and we get calls. They are like, hey, what are you guys planning? Call us, even extra, just even for an extra. So you see, there's that urge which we need to implement.
Yeah. You were saying when people come, they are raw, but they think they are hot. But they need training. How do we train them to get them ready? And do we have anything there to fill the gap? Or do they train on the job?
I think things have really changed in the industry right now. You are given a script way in advance. You get to understand your role. Basically, you need to create your own character Bible. And you're directed by the directors of that particular program. So the moment you internalize your role, you internalize your character Bible, then you're able to perform. Because without that guidance, then you can't be able to do that. But at the end of the day, coming back to what Allan was saying, after I left Churchill Show, I've been glad enough to work with one of the biggest clients who gave one of the talents on the main talent on Maria an endorsement, and that was courtesy of Daytona, which I'm one of the directors. We have been carrying out a CSR initiative, Giamini, talking to the youth. So the moment we got to Bungoma County, the deputy governor tasked us and asked us, there's a lot of talent in Bungoma. How do we make them stop entertaining us in funerals and what have you and get out there? I'd want to say this, COVID has exposed a lot. And it has also brought us a very big platform, which is the social media platform. And if you notice, some of the influencers are living off the social media platform. I think it's time we all embrace. The audience is too big. We all have our niche. At the end of the day is knowing your brand and knowing how to present yourself out there. That is the only thing that will attract fans to you. Yes.
Okay.
So we have to stop waiting for a chance to get to Nairobi.
Waiting to come to Nairobi,
yes.
Or waiting for Churchill to go to Bungoma,
Exactly.
which he may never do.
He may never do. So let us take time.
Yeah.
Let us nurture ourselves. Let us create our own brands. Then the moment you expose your brand, the moment you understand, you start with your close-knit family. If they understand that, then definitely there's someone else, and 2-3 people out there who will understand you, and you'll have a following. And you only need a small following to be able to push you out there for you to continue getting numbers. Wow. Yes.
Okay. Small steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Okay. So what is the X factor? This is a question for the two of you. So when you're looking, what is the X factor? What do you look for? How do you know a star? Because you've made some serious stars, you know. You've made some serious stars in your day. What are some of the stars you've made? And here you are a star maker.
I don't have to mention them.
You're on national TV, but you made some stars. What's the X factor? How do you know this is going to be a big star?
Number one, what I always look for, it's not even the content, it's the confidence. You see, with confidence, you can be able to do anything. Because at the end of the day, entertainment is all about the confidence to deliver. You can have your wonderful lines, wonderful act, but without the confidence, even the audience will lose confidence in you.
Yeah.
So that's the number one key factor that I look at.
You look at confidence.
Confidence. Most of these comedians, that's why I'm saying I won't mention names, because some of these in these series are behind the scenes. Because they just come like, me, I do funerals back in my village. And I make people in funerals stop crying and they laugh. So I know I'm a great, if I can transform such a mood. So I know, I'm a genius. You see, that's confidence. And you see, I can work with that. Let's test it. I said, let's test you then. And then you find out, by the way, what you learned from that funeral, you can use it into your craft and be able to make money out of it and create a career. Okay. Most of them have done it.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them have done it.
I don't know why I'm told we're running out of time, and I'm just in the middle of. So, what do you look for when you're looking for a star, Carol?
First of all, I look for that talent.
Talent?
Yes. Talent and passion, they go hand in hand. You may be talented, but you're not passionate, so you won't go an extra mile.
Yeah.
Yes. That is all I look for.
Okay.
Then that's when I'll decide whether I'm working with you or not. And at the end of the day, if you respect yourself, then you're going to respect the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because you can make talents that are going to, at the end of the day, I'm the talent manager, yeah? But the moment I make you and you're not respectful to yourself, it comes back to me.
Yeah, you'll have to look for me in clubs. Which brings me to we have to introduce the problem. There's a problem in the industry. What would you say is the biggest problem between the two of you in the Iko fundamental? Because we can't have artists who made quite a lot of money a few years down the line. All of them say they suffer from drug addiction. They had all the money got lost. How did that happen? What do you think is? Because what we are seeing, I think, is a symptom. What do you think is the real root of the issue?
Yeah, number one is just mismanagement. With management, it's, most artists, like, take for instance, we've seen some of these artists in interviews, Number one, there was the consistency aspect. Because you rely on one TV show. Then ikiisha, when the season ends, now you become jobless. There are no people to take you up, to manage you and take you to the next level. Yeah, again, the talent now depends on themselves. And you see, the way you killed it on this show, it was by sheer luck. You didn't even know that character was going to be accepted. Then after it ends, you start struggling to find the next thing to do, and you are all alone. So what do? In the apoko process ya kujifikiria, you start getting distractions, going to alcohol, start drug abuse. You become now bitter, social media, you're dissing everybody. And you see, it's all a cry for help. So when I say it's mismanagement, the second thing is misconception. A lot of artists are being perceived wrong. Yeah? Like, most of the artists I meet, they all mean well. They all mean well. But sometimes, again with the social media, with social media, you're selling your own story. And as a scriptwriter, a good story, always you're a villain. Now, unfortunately, you're the villain in your own story. This villain can be your past, it can be your vices. Then eventually, they just show up. Now we mess kila kitu, and now you find out everybody's talking negatively about you. Oh, uliisha, oh, ulifanikiwa. You see, these vitu tu behind the scenes, we say we need to correct, and we'll be fine.
For me, I would say...
we are coming back to I've been told, have you seen, you guys are in the industry, so I've been told
cut
like 100 times, but we are coming back to you with what is the problem. But when we come back, we'll come back with somebody who can talk money. Because I think, besides mismanaging time, I think artists have mismanaged a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I wanted us to talk to somebody who will bring the money conversation. So we'll start off with you when we come back. Thank you very much, Allan.
It's been a pleasure.
Such a short time,
He's a comedian
but
in
so
South.
deep.
You didn't notice that?
It was short but sweet.
Wow.
And we will call you
And
back for
impactful.
sure.
Yeah.
And impactful. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, till
And
next
thank you
time.
for accepting to come on such short notice.
It's cool, it's cool. For the industry,
Ladies, we're going into a break. You can tell this is an artistic show, so even me, I've been taken over by the spirit of the arts. We'll be right back. And we are back with Jacob Maaga. Karibu, Jacob.
Asante sana.
I will allow you to introduce yourself after Carol says what she was saying. Carol, you are going to say something. And the question I had asked is, what went wrong?
It's not a matter of what went wrong. It's a matter of... most of the times in school, we are taught how to go out there and be excellent professionals. But we are not taught about how to manage our finances, however little they are. And that is where the biggest problem is.
Okay.
Were you taught financial management
No, I
in
was
school?
not.
Yeah.
I was not, and I must be honest. I do come from now I'm revealing stuff. I do come from the world of the arts, and I do feel sad about the state of my finances. I could have done a much better job.
Yes.
So welcome, Jacob. Tell us a bit about yourself. I hear you're the money man.
My name is Jacob Maaga. Grew up in Kenya, but I spent most of my life overseas.
Okay.
And I'm fortunate enough to be both in the arts industry and in the finance industry. Professionally, I'm a trained dancer. So ballet, jazz, modern dance, and I used to teach and choreograph African dance. But I transformed into the financial world. I worked in Wall Street as a stockbroker, started in as a junior stockbroker, became a trader, and then a financial money manager, managing about $500 million with a team of 6.
What? Okay. Okay. So,
Yes.
so Jacob,
Yes.
from a dancer, a choreographer to a finance guru
Yes.
in Wall Street. So you know money. What is the problem with artists and money? And I'd said before, it's not just in Kenya. It's all over the world. People get broke. Artists get broke a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
I mean, one of the key things that we have to realize, finance is an art as well. Financial planning is an art,
Okay.
right? So it's something that is in, some people get lucky, it's inbuilt in them. But other people, we all need to learn it, right? So like artists, for most artists like here in Kenya, they are not technically trained. They are naturally talented.
Yes.
Exactly. So for finance, you have to be trained. And it doesn't only apply on the actors, it's on everyone. The only thing that happened is COVID exposed the arts industry, because the hospitality and arts industry is the most hit by this situation. But if you talk about lawyers, anyone who is not employed by government or in a stable job where they have to get, they do business, they'll be telling you we are suffering financially. And it's a story that is out there. Now, one of the key things, as Carol mentioned, is we are taught how to make money, but no one tells you how to spend money or how to manage it. A good doctor, a good surgeon, they spend 6 to 8 years learning on how to operate on your brain. But the minute they lose their arm, they become broke. And that is a problem that applies also in the art industry. But the other thing that I was saying, and it's here in Kenya, I see it, the way we artists get compensated is very different. You are paid once and that's it. But have in mind, your show will keep airing every single day. And people will think that you are also earning from that, but you are not earning anything. It's like you've sold yourself out, right? But it's a structure on the way shows are produced. So that those are things that we have to have an honest conversation as an industry and say, realistically, if we are paying people a certain amount of money, should we also extend royalties to them? There are people that we grew up seeing on TV, but the day they lose that role, that's it. Yeah, and it's an unfortunate situation. But I think as we go on, things will change.
Okay. Carol, as a talent manager, when you tell people that you're going to manage them and their money, what is your first reaction?
Wow. As I said earlier, we are not open to the aspect of management. So the first thing is, what is the percentage? The moment you say 10 or 20%, someone looks at, if it was $1 million, it's 200 bob, gone. 200,000 shillings, gone. They're not looking at the benefits. They're just looking at the money. So it's like this person just wants to use me to, rather use me to make money or con me. That's it. But the moment we open up to management, because we don't know it all. For me, I knew about acting. I only knew how to manage talent and finances when I went to Churchill Show, and it gave me a very big platform. It exposed me to a lot of things that I was able to learn. As I said, it was a very good learning platform for me, and that's why I am who I am right now. And that's why we came up with Daytona, and we are coming up with a financial literacy event for the artists, specifically for the artists. Across board. Musicians, actors, actresses, comedians, social media influencers, they're artists too. And athletes and rugby players. Look at what is happening. They're all hit, they're all affected in one way or another. The other day we saw one of the biggest names being raised for funds for medical help. So at the end of the day, it's not just artists, as he said. COVID has exposed us to a lot.
Okay. So what about time? Because I noticed that it's interesting when you're in the arts or you're in, and any one of you can take this question. When you're in the arts, you actually have a sell by date. Indeed, you can't graduate to an older actress or an actor and you get distinguished roles. But the truth is you have a sell by date. And so if you don't manage time, you find that by the time you are old, then you're not able to get, and also you transit. You could be a young artist, then you become an older artist, and then you become a very old artist, and then you know, which the industry choose you and throws you away. What do you guys have to say to that?
We are so many actors and actresses in Kenya.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed a role. It's just by sheer luck. So for you to grow old in the industry, I think is next to impossible. And that is why, as actors, actresses, artists, and as a whole, we need to look back at and sit back and think, what else can I do that will sustain me? As opposed to waiting for that role. You can wait even for 3 years. There's no role coming. What are you going to do? Are you going to go back to the village? No. Get out there. Let's stop being proud. Let's get out there and work. If it comes and finds me, fine. But let's go back and learn different ways of making money. Our industries are not as big as Hollywood, Nollywood. Their industries are structured, well structured. And I pray that we'll get to a point where the government will help us put systems in place.
Okay.
Yes.
I think one of the key things in reference to what she has said, actors and actresses in this country, or artists in general, do not know how to value themselves. Because, as you said it rightfully, you have 7 years.
Yes.
7 years is for you working for 7 years, maybe at a maximum 10 years, is an equivalent of an entire person's work lifetime. So I should be compensated for that work.
And that's why Hollywood then compensates you very well.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to be genuine and say the actors and actresses need to be paid more. I have seen people, and I've had people being paid 2,000 shillings or 5,000 shillings for a role for an episode. I mean, it's a very small amount of money. But if you see the amount of money that is being made from that show, you wonder, really, is it fair? We should all have an equitable way of distributing. And that is one of the key things. If you look at, for countries like the US, they have the SAG. So if you are a member of the SAG, there is a set standard rate for you to, because we know very well, even the producers, there is a certain cost. They have to pay. The companies that are coming for sponsorship, they have to also pay because they need to reach a certain audience. So we have to compensate people fairly for their time. Yeah? And that applies to not just actors and actors, to everyone, right? The other key thing that we have to do as a country, and this goes to the government, really we have to give tax breaks for productions to be implemented in this country. There are shows that go to South Africa because the county of Nairobi or the city of Nairobi charges a certain amount of money for licenses and so on. Yet, let me tell you, when a show or any production goes into a town, they don't employ those actors. Those are the least. That is the least amount of money that is employed. There is a crew for every single actor. Averagely, there is about a 10-person team behind them.
That's
so
true.
this 10-person team has to eat every day. They have to
Be accommodated
accommodation,
somewhere.
transportation, move around, all these things. That's an economy by itself. And if you put that in the back of your mind, you'll pay film crews to bring productions in the country.
Yeah.
Because the amount of money that is spent is more than what you're going to charge.
Yeah.
So that is, in terms of government, that is key thing that we have to. Then the other thing is, I think, and this is for the artist community, you have to produce better content. I'm serious.
Ouch.
You have to
That hurt.
from the financial aspect, right? When I've watched a lot of shows, even when I was overseas, I used to sit down and watch Makutano Junction. I never knew Allan then. He was in that show, right? And even later on, when we met, we'd been friends for a long time. And I told him, there's this show that it used to be, And then he told me, I was there. Ah, no, you were never. I can't remember because he didn't have that kind of hair, right? So, but because the production was so good, I didn't watch it locally. It is now an export. And even my friends will watch it, who are not Kenyan, but who are of African descent, they'll watch it. So if we produce good shows, good quality shows, we're going to sell everywhere. How many shows from Kenya are on Netflix?
I'm not sure. Maybe
Very
one
few.
or two.
One or two, right?
Maybe one or two.
But how many Nigerian shows are there?
Oh my gosh.
They're
yes.
series. They have
Yeah,
series
yeah.
because of the production. So we have to get into that culture that to know that good quality work, people will pay for it.
And
from
also
a
that we are
financial-
not producing just for local.
No.
Because I think we produce a lot of local content to be consumed locally.
We
Sure.
don't have to produce anything local. There's nothing local anymore.
Yeah.
As long as you have internet connectivity, that content is going elsewhere. Not someone's grandmother in the village will be they will be watching. That is their uncle who is elsewhere, and their auntie and everyone else.
Carol, artists are known to be tough to manage, especially when they get a little money. They're egocentric. They now don't keep time. They become superstars. They ride in limousines. They drink all night. Aren't you afraid of managing them? I wouldn't want to manage them.
I tell you, I had to manage egos when I was at Churchill Show. You can imagine all those comedians,
Yeah.
not just the Kenyan comedians, but because we had international shows. You've seen all these egos, so you can manage one or two. It's not a very big problem, so long as you sit down, they get to understand what they want to achieve. If you don't get to understand what you want to achieve, then I have no business with you.
Okay.
Yes. I'll only work with that person who wants and sees the future.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are managing somebody who is visionary.
Yes.
So
I'm not going to force anyone.
Okay.
No. I'll work with only the person who, first of all, has dignity for themselves. They respect themselves and they respect their passion and talent.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Because the moment you start working, I'm telling you, you'll give up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just trying to imagine managing a bunch of artists. That would be something
You'll
tough.
give up because they don't just listen to you. They have their immediate family, they have their friends who influence them. At the end of the day, everyone has an opinion. Yes. So if you've come to me and you've made me your manager, you've signed a contract with me, then you have to respect me and respect my opinion.
Okay.
I only want the best for you.
Okay.
Yes.
I have to take a parting shot. So whatever you are going to say, could you speak into the fact that as an industry, what is it that you would like artists to know at the end of the day?
I think one of the key things that an artist should realize is you are an artist. You are not a financial planner.
You're not a communicator.
You're
You're not a
commu-
marketer.
You have an expiry date.
Yes. And from that perspective, once you understand what you're good at, you'll concentrate in what you're good at. When I was good in dance, I did that every single day. That is what I did from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. But once I went into the financial industry, that is the only thing that I do. So when I talk about a certain subject relating to finances and money, that is all that I can do every single day. So once you realize that, then you're going to value yourself more.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you're not a jack of all trade.
Yes.
A jack of all trade,
You're an actor, a dancer.
you can't,
Makeup
right? So you have to leave some room for people to speak on your behalf. You see, let me tell you, if you go to a client to negotiate, you as an individual, right? When you state your price, what happens? The client will say, no, yeah?
It's too much for
Yeah,
me.
but when your manager says, this is the price because this is what we're going to deliver for you, and then at that point, it's someone else who is speaking. You're not going to be seen in a bad light, that client may say, I can't afford you right now, but 2 months down the line, I can afford you, right? Or I think what you're proposing, because most clients will propose something else, but they'll want more. So leave the management to management team. Then you have your financial planner. And it's very important for artists to sit down, because you are working, not even artists, for every single individual in Kenya to sit down once a year, just once a year, for 1 full week to understand about money. Because you spend how many weeks working? In Kenya,
52.
52. Just spend 1 week to understand money, and then your life will change completely.
How your party is what?
Well, I think it's time we started serious discussions with the government to be able to streamline the industry. We've seen countries come and surpass us, and yet there are very many films. When I was growing up, I've seen so many films shot here in Kenya. Why are they going out of the country? We need that money here. We need to grow our own. We have too much talent in Kenya that is untapped.
How do people reach you before I leave? Is there an email address?
Yes, info@daytona.co.ke.
Okay. Yes. So if they're interested in your services or in some of your talent, they can go there.
Yes, info@daytona.co.ke.
Thank you very much, ever lovely Carol. Thank you very much, Jacob.
Thank
you very much, Allan. And thank you very much, Dadas. As I say, I love this show. I learn something new every day. I am going just now to ask whether this team can manage my money, for the little that's there, and whether they can manage me as talent. So until next week, have a very, very lovely week. Baraka.